Buried beneath thousands of years of sand and silence, lies a secret. A secret so powerful, it defied time. So sacred, it was guarded by gods. And so strange, it makes modern funerals look like fast food. The ancient Egyptians didn't just bury their dead, they transformed them, wrapped in layers of science, spirit, and seriously questionable smells. This wasn't a job for the faint of heart or nose. Mummification was the ultimate prep for the afterlife, and let's just say, it involved more hooks than a horror movie. But why go to such terrifying, elaborate lengths? Why preserve a body for eternity? And what ancient knowledge did these rituals hide just beneath the bandages? In this video, we're peeling back the linen layers of history, one dusty wrap at a time. Get ready to meet gods, spies, secret scrolls, and maybe a curse or two. They never meant for us to find them. Before the bandages, before the embalming tools, before the pyramid sealed its final stone, there were the gods. In the vast pantheon of ancient Egypt, a few deities reigned supreme over the domain of death. But death, to the Egyptians, wasn't an end. It was an initiation. First came Anubis, the jackal-headed god of embalming, protector of the dead, guide of souls, and probably the only divine figure comfortable elbow-deep in a pharaoh's intestines. Then came Osiris, the god who died and rose again, murdered by his jealous brother, resurrected by his devoted wife Isis. He became the prototype of every mummy ever made. Yes, you heard that right. Osiris was the first mummy, dismembered, embalmed, resurrected. If you're sensing resurrection, transformation, divine judgment, congrats. You've just uncovered the foundations of Egyptian theology. And of course, Thoth, god of knowledge, keeper of spells, the original librarian. He recorded every ritual, every incantation, every secret whispered in a tomb. In our world, death ends the story, but to the ancient Egyptians it was just the start of chapter 2, and you better have brought the guidebook. The soul, or Ka, had to navigate a treacherous path through the underworld. Demons, fire lakes, judgment chambers, and let's not forget a giant crocodile lion hippo waiting to eat your heart if you flunked. Your heart was weighed against a feather. Too heavy? You get eaten by Ammit, the devourer. Too light? Well, no one had that problem. Pass the test, and your soul would merge with the stars. Fail, and you'd vanish forever. No Netflix, no reincarnation, just oblivion. To stand a chance in the afterlife, you needed more than good karma. You needed the gods on your side, and you needed a body, preserved, purified, protected. Which brings us to the real magic, the ancient art of embalming. Mummification wasn't just medical, it was mystical. Every gesture, every phrase, every drop of resin held meaning. Because in Egypt, death wasn't biology, it was theater for the gods. Over 70 days, the body was washed, purified, dried, scented, oiled, and finally, wrapped. But not just wrapped, infused. Lines from sacred texts were whispered into the ears of the dead. Incantations were spoken over every limb. And as the priest chanted, he didn't just preserve flesh. He rewrote the soul's destiny. Amulets were slipped between the bandages, each a spiritual firewall. Scarab beetles for rebirth, the Eye of Horus for divine sight, the Ankh for eternal life. Basically, it was the metaphysical version of antivirus software. And then came the master key, the Book of the Dead. Pages of spells, maps, and mantras, Egypt's passport to the afterlife. And now, the finale. The most sacred, strange, and cinematic ritual of all, the opening of the mouth. The priest touched the lips, eyes, and ears of the corpse with ritual tools. Why? To give the mummy back its senses, so it could eat, speak, and see in the next life. Because let's be honest, Waking up in the underworld and not being able to talk. Awkward. Everything was precise. The tomb's orientation mirrored the stars. The wrapping matched sacred geometry. Even the sarcophagus echoed the myth of Osiris. And when the final words were spoken, the tomb was sealed, not just to protect the body, but to contain the soul's transition. But what if this ritual wasn't just for the dead? What if it preserved something else? A message? A formula? A power waiting to be decoded? The ancient Egyptians embalmed their dead for religious reasons, but some believe that was just the surface. Could it be that mummification wasn't simply about preservation, but about encoding knowledge? Knowledge meant not for the living, but for those who could read the dead. Each layer of linen, each amulet, each sigil, carefully placed, mathematically measured. Some theorists suggest the mummy itself was a living scroll, a preserved text written in symbols, flesh, geometry, and gold. And those symbols? They echo through history: Hermetic texts, alchemy, Freemasonic rites, Rosicrucian doctrine, the Eye of Horus, the all-seeing eye. From Egyptian tombs to dollar bills, it stares across millennia. Many secret societies claim spiritual descent from Egypt. Freemasons trace their rites to ancient builders. Rosicrucians embrace Egyptian mysteries as blueprints for spiritual awakening. Even Renaissance alchemists studied embalming as a metaphor for the transmutation of the soul. And there's something else. The burial sites of high priests, nobles, even unknown mummies. They often align with star systems: Sirius, Orion, the Milky Way. Coincidence? Or a celestial ritual designed to send the soul home? Some say certain scrolls found buried with mummies speak of powers beyond time, astral travel, immortality, the ability to become a god. And curiously, these themes echo in later texts: the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, the Kabbalion, books that appear out of nowhere, books that speak with Egyptian voices in languages born centuries later. So we ask again, were mummies just honored corpses? Or were they archives? Encapsulated wisdom, encrypted spells, encoded blueprints for a kind of rebirth, not just of the soul, but of the mind? But perhaps not everything they left behind was meant to be uncovered, because some who dug too deep never made it back. For thousands of years, the dead slept in silence. But then, we woke them. 1922. British archaeologist Howard Carter and his team uncover the untouched tomb of Tutankhamun, a find hailed as the most important in modern archaeology, and perhaps the most cursed. Just months after entering the tomb, Carter's patron, Lord Carnarvon, dies suddenly from blood poisoning. On the same night, Cairo goes dark. All electricity fails. A warning was reportedly found inscribed inside the tomb: "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king's rest." Carnarvon was only the beginning. Over the next decade, over 20 people connected to the dig died, many under bizarre circumstances. An X-ray technician died of a mysterious illness. A visitor fell down a staircase. A wealthy patron collapsed mid-speech about the tomb. Coincidence or consequence? Even Carter's beloved canary, said to have brought luck to the expedition, was swallowed whole by a cobra, symbol of Egyptian royalty, just days after the tomb was opened. In ancient Egypt, the cobra was a protector of kings. Had the spirit of Tutankhamun sent a warning? Modern scholars point to mold spores, ancient bacteria, or psychosomatic fear. They argue there's no curse, just coincidence and deadly fungi. But then again, many tombs have been opened. Very few have triggered decades of death. Perhaps the curse isn't magic, but mind, the overwhelming guilt of disturbing sacred ground, the subconscious terror of violating eternity, the human fear of being watched by the dead. What if curses aren't spells at all? What if they're triggers, symbols, catalysts, echoes of ancient protections designed to activate when the sacred becomes spectacle? Return what was taken. And now that we've touched the sacred, what are we bringing back with us? We often see mummies as relics, strange exhibits in glass boxes, silent, still, forgotten. But in truth, they were messages, spoken not in language, but in ritual. Each step of mummification was a spell, each glyph a code, each body a vessel of cosmic alignment. And maybe, just maybe, we haven't truly understood what they left behind. Because the ancient Egyptians didn't fear death, they engineered eternity. If this journey into ancient mystery moved you, if you believe there's more to our past than textbooks dare admit, then you're one of us. Like this video, subscribe to Esoteric Philosophy, and drop a comment below. Would you choose to be mummified if it meant your soul would awaken 3,000 years from now? The dead were never silent. We just forgot how to listen.